folks, this is Alan Say, and I'm here today with Dennis Brave, and we are at the National Dental Museum in Baltimore, Maryland.
It's been fun already just spending the last hour walking.
It sure is. It's pretty amazing, Dennis, to see how many artifacts they have collected here from the history of dentistry. We have everything from dental chairs to all the dental instruments and handpieces. And what's most impressive is to see how far we've come, because we have the historical stuff, and there's also one exhibit with the modern dental office, or at least the operatory, and it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I guess the most disconcerting part of this whole experience is the fact that I've used some of these things. But great fun.
Well, you know, that actually gives you perspective, and it certainly gives you credibility to be able to have some input about how dentistry has come and what it has been able to achieve. And to me, it seems remarkable. What I actually particularly liked was the exhibit with George Washington.
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
You know, the fact, I mean, the myth that he was wearing wooden teeth.
Yep.
And the evidence is now on exhibit.
Yeah, you can see it quite clearly. And the fact that he had multiple sets, you know, just wasn't one set. Over his lifetime, he had many sets of dentures. All of them which are exhibited, or many of them which are exhibited here. Yeah,
absolutely. His teeth are an exhibit at this museum, and it was really interesting to see it. Also, the other thing that was interesting to me is the fact that they used even live human teeth for some dentures.
Yes, absolutely. One of the exhibits refers to the fact that people donated their teeth, not for nothing, but donated their own physical teeth to make dentures for some of the aristocrats, and that's pretty interesting when you think about it.
Yeah, to know that there were people walking around with other people's teeth.
Yeah.
And worse yet, that people were being paid to lose their perfectly good teeth.
Right.
I guess not really realizing what the consequences would be for them for how much money they were getting for them.
Right.
You know, a tooth, a lifetime of eating soup.
You know, and I also, one of the exhibits talked about sometimes in the Victorian age, that some of the people before they would go out to eat would eat at home so that they would not be seen eating with their dentures.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it really, you know, dentistry has a very, very important place. And historically, when you see how far we've come, how much pain and suffering teeth have caused, and almost as well as how great a beautiful smile really is.
You know, one of the things that's interesting is one of the alumni functions, the president of Harvard University, who was a Civil War historian, was making the claim that she was very surprised to read so many letters during the Civil War where everything kind of either began or ended with "how are your teeth doing?" You know, and she couldn't quite understand it until realized that, well, at the time, people's teeth were a grave concern to them, and it was something that really took a big part of their lives, trying to deal with all the dental problems without the presence of any reliable dentistry. And again, it goes back to one of those things that we all take for granted. Historically, Dennis, you know, after the discovery of sugarcane and sugar beet, by 1700s, the 7th cause of death in London was tooth decay. People don't realize it. I mean, we take that for granted.
I wasn't aware of it myself.
Without the advent of antibiotics and modern dentistry, where we know how to deal with dental decay, this was a rampant problem historically. So it's a good thing to be living now, as opposed to maybe so many years ago. In fact, it's funny because one of my favorite lines in a movie is Woody Allen's movie called Midnight in Paris, which is a really great movie. You should watch it. And at the end, where they're romanticizing about going into the past, he says, well, you know, I like all of this stuff, romantic moment, but I'd really rather have Novocaine. You know? So it is one of those things that we need to keep in mind. So then as we're standing with a picture of Doc Holliday, the famous Doc Holliday. This is like in the late 1800s. This picture was taken, and it looks like he's about to extract a tooth I'm a cowboy, kind of a scary possibility here, especially if he's packing some guns.
Well, Allie, what was so interesting as we were getting some information about Doc Holliday is he, first of all, was a dentist.
Yeah.
And was trained in Pennsylvania State. I'm not sure exactly what school he went to, but in Pennsylvania. Moved to Georgia.
Yeah.
Then was a friend of Wyatt Earp's.
That's right, the famous Wyatt Earp.
Fought at OK Corral.
OK Corral.
Yeah.
That's
and
right.
all the time being a dentist.
A dentist, a gambler, and a gunfighter.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the trifecta.
Kind of reminds me of you a little bit.